Right, so get ready because today we're going to take a deep dive into Twerk Race 3D.
Twerk Race 3D.
This is a mobile game, and it's exactly what it sounds like.
All right.
It's a race, and you're twerking to win.
Gotcha.
We're going to be looking at some gameplay footage.
Okay.
And just to give you a picture,
Yeah.
you're running through this obstacle course, but to win,
Yeah.
you got to shake what your mama gave you.
It's interesting how, at first glance, this seems like kind of a simple game.
Right.
But the way they built the game mechanics around twerking is, it's actually quite clever, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising. I mean, you're not just racing. You're twerking over speed bumps,
Right.
looking around tight corners. You're even like battling other players in these like dance-offs.
Wow.
Pretty wild. And the commentator in the footage we have
Yeah.
really seems to emphasize that twerking is like
Yeah.
the key to success in this game.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly saying things like Turk Queen and epic twerk power.
So over the top,
Right.
but in a really good way.
Well, I think that's probably a very deliberate choice on the part of the developers. It's a very casual mobile game.
Yeah.
And I think this style of commentary, which is, very energetic and almost like
Yeah.
hyperbolic in a way,
Yeah.
it just creates a fun and kind of lighthearted atmosphere.
Right.
Which really, I think, plays well into the absurdity of the premise.
Totally. And it's like having your own personal hype person
Yeah,
cheering you on as you twerk to victory.
definitely.
It's great.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the commentary, right?
Right.
The game itself also has to be designed in a way that makes twerking like a central mechanic to gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where it gets kind of interesting on the technical side.
Yeah.
The developers had to carefully calibrate things like the physics engine,
Right.
the character animation, to make tarking a functional gameplay element.
Right.
That has to feel responsive.
And satisfying for the player.
Yeah, and it's got to look good too.
Oh, definitely.
Like the twerking has to look good in the game.
Exactly. It has to have both visual appeal
Yeah.
and actually tie into the gameplay itself.
Yeah. So they've got the mechanics, the visuals, and the super hype commentary. But something that really stood out to me was how much the commentator
Yeah.
is interacting with the audience.
Yeah.
There's this constant stream of like, hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Yeah.
What do you make of that as a strategy?
Well, you see this a lot with mobile gaming these days and short form video content.
Right.
This direct engagement with the audience. It's all about trying to foster this sense of community
Right.
and getting the viewers to become active participants.
Yeah.
And it's super effective.
Yeah.
Especially with like a younger audience who's used to interacting with content.
Totally. It's not just like passively watching it.
Right.
It's about being a part of the experience.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that kind of makes me think about the bigger picture here. We're talking about a game where twerking is how you win. It's your like secret weapon.
Right.
And it made me realize how much twerking has actually evolved.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a fascinating evolution.
Yeah.
Twerking started as this underground dance form.
Right.
Some people considered it pretty controversial.
Yeah.
But now it's gone totally mainstream.
Yeah.
And you see it in music videos on social media, even in like fitness classes.
Totally.
And there's definitely a lot of athleticism and skill involved.
Yeah, it's gone from like taboo to trendy.
You could say that.
And Twerk Race 3D seems to be tapping into that current cultural moment, maybe even pushing it a little further.
Maybe.
So we've got this seemingly simple mobile game
Right.
that's actually got these like layers to it, right?
Yeah.
Like the clever mechanics. Yeah.
The engagement tactics.
Yeah, and maybe even like some subtle social commentary.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And it really makes you think. Is Twerk Race 3D just a silly game?
Yeah.
Or is it like a sign of something bigger happening in our culture?
It's definitely food for thought.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our deep dive into Twerk Race 3D.
Great game.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.